Welcome, everybody, to Raising an Archer. Scott and Wendi here.
Yep.
And, man, we have been busy.
Oh, just a little.
Just a little. That's right.
Here we are in the new studio, which you've been more into this than
Yeah, I've been working on this thing for
I've
at
just
least
been
a week.
agreeing. No, I don't like that. You know, my little ghost friends.
I send her pictures, and she's like, she's just like, Great.
You don't like it? Well, I don't know. Anyway, and then new video podcasts, which we have cameras up in this room recording us.
Yeah, so we'll be on YouTube here soon.
Mm-hmm.
And
I thought it was already live.
Well, we have a YouTube, but we don't have a video.
Is not on there yet.
Right,
Got it.
We also have a new website that's coming.
Oh,
we have merchandise coming because you know,
my goodness, yeah,
we're becoming a big deal.
Oh,
Speaking of big deals,
yeah,
right?
Somebody thought it was a good idea to have you speak at a school and asked you to speak at a school. Are you sure they asked you, or
they did?
You
they
didn't
did.
send in something?
They texted me. One of the teachers texted me and says, "Hey, can you speak at the school?" And I was like, "Yeah, absolutely, I can speak at the school." And then I was like, "What about?" And I was thinking it was going to be like video or audio or something. She's like, no, I need you to talk on forced perspective.
You had to go look it up.
I did. I was like, what on the earth? Forced perspective? Why would she ask me to do forced perspective? And apparently I had done it. I took a picture a while back, and it was this, I guess it was called forced perspective. What forced perspective, the easiest way to explain it is that if you have a fish, you catch a fish, and you want somebody to take a picture of you, and you want this fish to look really big, you hold it forward, they take the picture, and the fish looks bigger than it really is.
Did she think maybe that's what was going on with you and Ryan? That
Yeah, Ryan. No, Ryan was standing right next to me. So I the lady shows up. This is like 6 weeks. 6 weeks later, she shows up at church. She hands my wife this background check paperwork and says, "Hey, have Scott fill this out before he teaches tomorrow." And Amy comes up to me and she says, "You're teaching at the school tomorrow?" And I was like, "Yeah." She's like, "On what?" And I was like,
she was even questioning.
I know. She's like,
your
"What?"
wife.
I was like, "Forced perspective." And the look on her face when she said, "What is wrong with you?"
Oh, I'm not the only one who says that.
I know. Maybe we need a shirt that says, "What's wrong with you?"
I'm starting to think so.
And so I put this thing together. The morning of, I put this whole presentation together.
So you threw it together.
I threw it together. So my first page is an intro to me, and I'm going through my intro and everything.
A whole page?
A whole page, yes, a whole page. And at the very bottom, I said, "Hey, I just want to make sure everybody knows I'm a self-proclaimed big deal."
They didn't know that after you talked about yourself. For
yeah,
a whole
I talked
page?
to myself, and Amy was like, "Really? Like you have like 20 items on there?" I'm like, "Well, I got to make sure they know that I'm a big deal."
Well, talking about big deals, we're going to get away from you.
That's right.
And we're going to go into two things that are near and dear to my heart. Of course, one is archery, which is what our show is all about. And the other is family. And we have the Harrigan family with us today, which all four of them have shot, and we still have one that still shoots. Well, I guess we still have two that still shoots because
he owns a bow.
He owns a bow.
He's kind of a big deal.
He's kind of a big deal.
I almost went to push you with the rolling chair.
Push me.
And the rolling chair's right here. All right.
Well, Shawn, I'm going to tell another quick story.
Oh.
So when we were in Vegas, we were talking about sweet tea and unsweet tea, and Wendi felt like the tea in Vegas was the best tea that she's ever drank. Yeah. And I'm just like, really? We're from Texas. She's seriously saying the best tea she's ever drank was from Las Vegas.
Yes. Every place that I went to, it was fresh. It was the best unsweet tea that I have ever had.
Yeah. And so and you put sweetener in it, right?
Yes, I do. Sweet and low.
Yeah. And what is sweet and low made of?
Sweet and low is made of aspartame.
Yes, it is. And I made fun of her.
Yes.
And
That's new.
Yeah. And because of that, she called me an aspartame.
No.
Because this is a PG show. And so speaking of aspartame, Shawn is kind of our smart aspartame here.
And I did not approve that message. I
Not
didn't even
gonna
know
deny
about it.
I'm just trying to keep everything, on the up and up here. So
Oh,
everybody
my
knows
goodness.
who we're really talking to.
Well, he is really smart because he's the one that got both of us into judging, you way before me. And then it's been about a year ago that he asked me because it was outdoor season then. And then if I have questions, I ask him. And and you do too.
Yeah, he has a wealth of knowledge.
Yes, absolutely. So, but I didn't know it until just here recently that Shawn, you actually shoot. And for one, well, I didn't know until the show that you actually still
You
shoot.
have to. Yeah, he just shakes his head like we can hear him.
Yes,
he's like
I
you
do.
with the hand
Yeah.
gestures.
Oh, I'm all about that. But I talk too. I'm still.
Yeah, we all know.
Doing all that.
Yeah.
I do the. With my hands when I'm talking.
Didn't even sound right. So we're going to keep going. So, Shawn, I said that you used to shoot, but actually I just found out that you still shoot, that you just got a longbow.
Yeah, I bought a longbow last year.
Wow. Yeah. I don't know. I guess maybe I've seen you shoot. I don't remember.
Well, you went out to Sherwood. What was it? Sherwood Forest? What do they call it?
Sherwood Forest Fair.
Thank you. Yeah, the Sherwood Forest. Blah, blah, blah.
Blah, 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 blah.
It's
Is
late.
that
It's
George
late.
the
It's already
Greeks?
late.
Is that George the Greeks?
No.
Sherwood? No, it's somewhere else. There's another Sherwood. Okay. All right.
Out in San Antonio area, right?
Actually, it's on 290 between Austin and Bastrop.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of the
More
guys
tor-
in like the green and white jerseys.
Yeah, that's who those guys are.
There
Yeah.
we are.
Yeah.
See, I'm putting two and two together.
Yep.
And I'm coming up with 4.
Wow.
So, how long have you been shooting?
I think I started shooting in 2014 with a compound for a while, and I gave that up. Started shooting bare bow.
All right.
And I think I gave that up, last year? Maybe two years ago. And then I just got a longbow because I have shoulder problems. So longbow is easier to shoot for me.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, so it's been about 7-8 years that you've been shooting. I love that. And now you're a USA Level 3 national judge.
That's correct.
Fantastic. So you travel all over the nation, and that also helps because now that you've got me into it, I know that it helps whenever y'all go to other tournaments. So your lovely wife, Sabrina, who we've known for years, like the sweetest person on the face of the planet.
She's okay.
She's the real big deal.
She is the real
She
big
is.
deal.
Yeah, she is.
Absolutely. So just to start off with, she's also a coach here at Texas Archery,
Mhm.
and she's phenomenal with kids, grown-ups. I mean, she likes just anybody.
Yeah. Shawn definitely married up.
I'm just
And he
going
can't even
with
deny it. He
that.
can't even deny it.
No
He got
disagreement there.
speechless. I've never seen Shawn speechless, and he was speechless there. So we talk about the real big deal. You're a national champion and a world record holder. That is amazing. I'm sitting at the same table as a world record holder.
And a big deal.
And
And you're sitting next to a self-proclaimed big deal.
I thought when we said big deal, we were talking about Sabrina.
She's a big deal.
but-
She's a big deal. I'm a self-proclaimed big deal. So there's a big difference.
All
Because
right.
nobody acknowledges my big deal.
Except for you.
Yes, exactly. Thank you.
yes. So he shoots longbow. What do you shoot?
I got a new riser last spring, Gilo GT rest.
We all
Riser.
get tongue-tied.
Started taking some lessons to work out some kinks, and I use ukulele.
Shawn's shaking
Your
his head.
husband over here, when you're talking about lessons, I remember that whole big deal where he's like,
You almost quit.
yeah.
I was frustrated. After last year's indoor season. Things just kind of went downhill towards the end, and I needed help. I needed some guidance. So he suggested a coach, take some lessons, got me a new riser, really tried to figure some things out.
I like how you say he suggested, and he'll come at he goes, I made her get a coach. I made her get it. Now look what she's doing. I made her get a coach.
didn't
I'm like,
say it
what?
that way.
Oh.
Wendy, be cool. Like, what are you doing to Shawn over there?
I'm just telling it like you said it. I mean, that's what
That's true.
happened.
That's true. Now you're being aspartame.
No, I just need cake. So you got a coach,
Right.
and then things just turned around.
Things improved. My shooting improved. Consistency has always been a big deal. And outdoor nationals in Richmond, Virginia.
Last
August. Shot pretty well the first day. I was sitting in third place at the end of the day. Looked at the other scores for first and second, thought I had a good chance at second, and was happy with that. And always want to do better than the next, the previous year.
Mm-hmm.
And going into the second day, weather was different on the second day, I recall. It either was cooler or cloudy. I don't really remember, but both days were very different in the weather. And just shot my game. Didn't pay attention to any of the other scores of the archers that I was shooting against. And then Jennifer Stoner came up to me at the end and said, "Congratulations." And I said, "What? I got second? I caught the other girl?" She goes, "No, dummy, you got first. You got first."
Not only you got first.
I broke a national record and at the time broke a world record.
Oh
yeah.
my goodness.
Yeah.
Wow.
Pretty
That's
crazy.
all I can say is just wow.
Right.
And I wouldn't have any idea any of that was happening if it wasn't for my archery family of friends here in Houston that were watching all the scoring on between ends,
Mm-hmm.
and then knowing how to check all these numbers.
Yes.
To check for records. That's
and it's not it's an ordeal.
Yes.
Too, isn't it? So once you find out that you broke a world record, you have a certain time limit, and
correct.
There's just to submit it and all of that stuff. And so you guys had to go through all of that.
It was because we were driving home. I thought, I'll print out the form or email it in when I get home. No, we had to do it. I think it was 3 to 5 days to submit your scores. So we did it that night when we were still in Richmond.
It's pretty cool.
Saturday night. Yeah.
So how long have you guys been in archery?
2013.
Yeah, Sam started shooting in 2013.
Okay. So we have Spencer here. So Spencer, you started shooting archery at the same time, right?
Yes, I did.
And so when were you excited to try it, or what was your first impression when you started to shoot?
Well, I was new to the sport.
Right. And what type of bow was it that we were shooting? Was it a bare bow? Was it recurve?
Well, it was the bare bow that gave first spot.
I think you, after your brother moved on to a different bow, I think he picked up the Genesis bow.
Yeah,
all right.
and the rest is history.
The rest is history.
And you shot longer than your brother, too.
Yeah.
He did, yeah. Sam got busy with academics and marching band.
Yep. And then Spencer, you shot for years.
A couple of years, yeah.
And Sabrina was you were the first one that I saw that had a rake that was behind the target.
I still bring a rake in my car every once in a while, depending on, yeah.
And, I just remember I was judging out at Buffalo Field, and I think Spencer was more interested in the birds that were flying over top than shooting at the time.
But you do like birds.
Yeah. It was enough to get a job at Wild Birds Unlimited.
That's right.
Yeah, that's awesome. And you still work there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Fridays and Saturdays.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So what benefits when you got Spencer into archery, what type of benefits did you see for him as he was when he was doing it?
Well, it was just something for us to do as a family. He would go with us when it was just Sam shooting, and we wanted to get him more involved, and we didn't care how he did. But I think it's the fact that it's a step-by-step program, which a lot of autistic kids or any kids that are challenged can follow the different steps, whether you're shooting a bare bow or a compound bow, and interacting with other adults and other kids. And we all know that the archery family. Everybody, no matter what academy you're from or range you're from, there's always somebody there to help and keep an eye on somebody else's kid too, in case you get pulled away.
That's what I like. Spencer, I come under our tent sometimes when he still comes out there. You know, it's family, and that's just what we do. And I'm so glad he feels comfortable enough around us to come and hang out with us. It's always awesome.
So when did Spencer get into archery?
Probably 2014.
So about a year later.
Yeah.
And I want to talk a little more about that, you know, because I think that archery, it's a unique sport because of the amount of opportunities anybody has in the sport and how accommodating it is. Mm-hmm. So tell us, when you guys decided to put Spencer into archery, did he struggle with it? Was there, you know, what was some of the challenges at the beginning, if there were any?
I don't really think there was any challenges. I just know that
were there concerns maybe?
No, not for me, because I knew archery's for everyone, so it's wasn't that big of a deal. I think the biggest challenge for me is just letting the other archers know about Spencer and his quirks, and if they were okay with it. And I've had nobody say no, so that's what I love about. That's not going to happen. But that's what I love about archery. You can have an autistic child go out and fling some arrows at a target. And
have some fun
and watch some birds and airplanes if they go by. But yeah, it's been a lot
I
of
tend
fun.
to do that too, especially around here. I'll be outside and I'll go plane. I don't know what that's about, but anyway.
I am the worst about getting sidetracked.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's very easy because she puts together a script for us today, and I was just like, "Hey, send it." Don't send it to me because I won't follow it anyways.
No, Spencer took over Sam's little Genesis bow after Sam, I think, went to Olympic recurve.
Yeah.
And getting used to the weight on his left arm. But he did well. We had fun, kept it just really fun.
Right.
And printed out pictures of different things for them to shoot
Shot
at.
Some balloons.
Yeah, shot balloons.
So I think go ahead.
And that sort of thing. The one thing about Spencer is he was left eye dominant and couldn't close his left eye, and he's right-handed. So I had to make some special kind of glass coverings, almost like an eye patch type situation. But you just learn to find something that'll work for him. And I know now they make clip-on blinders and that sort of thing.
Yeah, they even make these little. They're not stickers, but they're like those plastic things that you can put on glasses too that cover that eye.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, as long as we told the group that he was shooting with, hey, he's got autism, but he knows how to score arrows. He knows how to mark arrow holes. Just, you do not want him doing the math.
Or writing.
Yeah, and everybody was very cool about it.
Which was Ryan's, at first with Ryan too. I was like, yeah, you don't want Ryan to be writing.
Same with Julie, even now.
They write those numbers so fast, and like at the end, you're just looking at the scores going, oh no.
Something I want to talk to you about is that I know with autism that they can have sensory overload.
Oh, yes.
And that can go along with either a lot of people at a tournament, or it could be the noise level, anything along those lines. With archery, the good thing about that is they can step off the line and go and regroup, or, they can come back if they wish to, but it's about having fun, and that doesn't matter if they need to regroup or.
No, not at all. I don't think Spencer ever shot at a national tournament like at A&M. We did mostly JOAD and practice and SIWATs because we thought they're relaxed. They're more low key. And if he did need to take a break, if it was too crowded, too hot.
Oh, yes.
Or too loud. Or if I sensed that his blood sugar was dropping, I always had a snack bag. And he would find a quiet corner. He might miss out on 2 ends of shooting, but then I would check on him because I was shooting at the time as well. And then I'd say, hey, are you okay? Want to jump back in? Sure. So off we'd go.
So to parents who might have children with challenges, and what would you say to them if they said, well, I don't really know about archery. That might be, too much on them. What would you say? Or what are other people going to think, or anything along those lines that.
Well, who really cares what other people think?
Absolutely. I love it. Yep.
My opinion.
If my kid likes it, then, well.
I think as a parent of an autistic child, archery is about structure. The shot process is about structure, and autistic children like to follow the process. Now, I will tell you that we've had, at least for me, that I have had one instance where the tournament director made a change to the tournament while the tournament was going on, and Spencer couldn't handle the process change.
Right.
They need some time to
adjust
to the new process. So he had a meltdown, and I just pulled him off the line and said, "You're done for the day. It's no big deal. We'll just go home."
Right.
He's like, "Okay, Dad, I'm fine.
Yeah.
Let's go."
Not you're done for that, like I'll do with my kids. Like, fine, you're done. You're done for that. Not that kind of done, but like, okay, you don't have to shoot anymore. We're okay.
No, it's
we're
okay.
good.
It's no harm, no foul.
Yeah.
And that's the great thing about sports, or about this sport, is that about sports, but about this sport is that it doesn't hurt. Like,
yes,
no,
the next day is a new day.
That's right.
You do it again
because you're really competing against yourself at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're competing against other archers in your division, but really you're just competing against yourself.
Right.
So, yeah, I encourage other parents of autistic children to let them go fling some arrows. I mean,
love it.
The price point into the sport is pretty low.
Yeah, you can get in with a Genesis
bow. It really is. Yeah, it really is.
And most, if you know some parents in archery, they may let you borrow their equipment and try it. I know we have before. Right. And we will continue to do so.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
So you would encourage?
Oh, absolutely.
Any day, every day. That's me.
Yeah. I think as a parent and an instructor of an autistic child, and I do have a new student, whatever the situation is, we try to prepare them as much as possible about noises, any interruptions that we might have. And we do the same thing for Spencer. We're going to run these errands today. We're going to do this, this, and this. And if we have time, we might do this. And just like in an archery tournament, you say, okay, we're going to do this, equipment check, a couple of rounds of practice. If you prepare them so they know what's coming, things will go a lot smoother. And it's when you don't is when there's a hiccup. Right. And it could be very minor, but it can really set them off.
Right.
Yeah.
I love talking about this because, again, near and dear to my heart as a special education teacher. And all these things are making my heart smile, making my face smile. I love it. I want to hand out flyers to all my students saying, you got to come try archery. But so if you know someone, there's at least 3 of us here in the room. I don't know about you, Scott, but because you've been kind of quiet. But
wow.
Which is a shock.
Yes, it is.
Hey, I'm just sitting here.
Are you taking it all in?
Looking pretty.
Oh, I wouldn't go there.
Oh, goodness.
Oh, yeah. I do. The one thing I did want to mention was when we did our pre-interview with you guys, you talked about that one moment at Buffalo Field where you guys took the picture. That was where you really you shined, like you were just so excited about talking about it. Yeah, and so I want you to tell a little bit about that.
So that was a TOTS event on a Saturday afternoon. I don't know what day it was, but all 4 of us were shooting at that time, and we were we on the same bail.
And TOTS, just so everybody knows, TOTS is just it's a tournament that Texas puts on. It's a little different than everybody else's, but it's just an archery competition.
Texas Outdoor Target Series.
Yes.
Yeah. So we were all shooting on different targets. That's right, because we were at different distances. And somebody took a photo. I can't remember who took the photo, but that was the pinnacle of the archery for me. Is participating with your your spouse and your children, and having a child that's special needs, doing a sport with them is just very rewarding to me.
I can't even imagine. Well, I guess people can see now though with the
That's
video.
right, with
the
video,
cameras,
yeah, we
but
can
I'm
see.
like,
I'll just
so
go ahead and
excited.
switch to keep the camera over there, away from us.
Yeah. So if someone had reservations, said a parent would come up and I don't really know, what would you tell them?
I think it's good to be upfront with the instructor of what can help them help your child. You don't have to tell them everything, but if they're a visual learner or if they take certain cues a certain way, it's very helpful. Or whether a quiet day, morning child, afternoon, whenever they're the sharpest, I would just get with an instructor and ask them, can my child try? Even if it's for 20, 30 minutes, can they try to shoot a bow with some arrows? And yeah, everybody needs to try it.
And I believe you even said something about try archery.
Yes.
And maybe doing that here on a Saturday morning or something.
Yeah, there's it's not just Texas Archery. There's other locations that have, it's Explore Archery, Try Archery. Everybody calls it something different, but USA Archery has one called the Explorer program. And it's a great way to get into the sport and learn the basics without having to purchase any equipment.
So I would highly suggest it. As parents, they would highly suggest it.
Yeah. And if you guys have any other questions about archery, about autism and archery, please send it our way. Yes. We will probably not answer those. We will probably pull in our local experts here. But you can go to, the email address is raisinganarcher@gmail.com. Yes. And we will go ahead and try to answer that as quick as we can.
Absolutely. And thank y'all so much for being here. We appreciate it. I know it was a drive.
Yes, thank you.
Oh, thanks for having us.
Yes. And that's it for this episode of Raising an Archer.
Archery is not about being your best. It's about having fun.
That's right.
I love that.
That is awesome. Yes, that is true.